well, almost morning. I think we're almost about to cross the noontime boundary here in Arizona. So I'm out taking a walk, thinking about 2021 and thinking about resolutions. And I'm thinking, resolutions aren't really a thing for me, because every time I resolve to do something, I don't. So I was thinking about, okay, 2021, what's going to be different? What's the goals? And that's where I thought I'd go live on YouTube, because I'm processing this. I'm thinking about things that I'm wanting to do, and I'm really curious about you guys. Thanks to Dora. I want to hear from you guys. What have you already processed this? What are you thinking about? Like, what are you guys doing for 2021? Hello, everybody. I see all the greetings from Sacramento. Lewis, good to see you here. So I'm really curious. What are you guys doing for 2021? Do you set explicit goals like I will move that tree, I will trim that bush? I'm just walking around saying things. Like I just saw one. I'm gonna knock out my Encore cert in 2021. Are you getting really specific, or just kind of setting a direction? Like 2021, I'm gonna be more, I don't know, clean. I'm gonna be more proactive. What works for you? I will get my CCNA. Merry Christmas. Hi from Germany. So I'm really wanting to hear from you guys, because I'm hoping this helps, helps us all, myself included, process 2021. So I'm coming around the final stretch for about the last half mile of this walk here, and thought I would I just hear from you. Or I could just hang out with you and say hello. I saw from Ethiopia, a couple people from Ethiopia, or the same person saying it a couple times. I'm walking, so all I see is the bubble pop up for about 2 seconds, and then it fades away. From the Netherlands, Jan, good to hear you. So tell me. So I know a lot of people are just joining. There's now 35 folks here. What are you doing for 2021? I saw. Okay, and there's actually something I want to mention. I just saw from South Africa, 42 just got his degree, or is going to get his degree. Again, forgive me. It's the little bubbles come and go so fast. So getting a cert, that's one of the things I see a lot of people doing. I saw a couple of people getting their CCNA, Encore. I saw another CCNP certification, which is good. But I'm also curious, what do you plan to do with that cert? And I know, get a job or accelerate my job. But that is, I would say that's a fair question. I'm actually, ironically, here at a college campus walking around, and I see a lot of kids, or 42-year-olds like me. I'm 42, that end up with a college degree. And let's just say 21, or a certification, or whatever it is, and they get it, and then they're like, okay, and they kind of walk out into the world, and they're like, okay, now what? And I actually started making some YouTube videos, like what to do after you get your CCNA, because I get that question so often. Okay, I got it. Now what do I do? So that as you think about 2021, if you're aiming for a certification, then what are you going to do once you get there? And I saw that the question just came through. In all your other live streams, it seems so cold. Now it's so warm. Yeah, welcome to Arizona in the middle of winter. It's about 65 degrees right now, and in the direct sun, which is where I'm at, I'm about to sweat. And I've got a flannel shirt. I should be in a short sleeve shirt, maybe a tank top, because it's hot. So Fu, going for Encore. Thank you for your time helping us learn. Awesome. And Encore is a great certification. It's the new CCNP certification from Cisco. It's tough. So Eric, network engineer. Oh no, it faded. Eric. Oh, hey, pop back up. There we go. Time to land Palo Alto. Can't say it while I walk. Going for the CCNP. Building skill sets for the job. Good. I'm curious, what job? But it's just network engineer for a company. That'd be good. CCNA by April, Chris, nicely done. Usema, I'm a CCNA, still in college, got a few years to go. I want to get my CCNP this year and work part-time in IT during the next academic year. Good. Actually, I will talk to that. That's actually ironic because I was reading a book. What book was I reading? A book. I read a lot of them. And I saw a quote from the founder of Instagram who said, "One day on the job is more valuable than 1 year in a book." And I threw that on Twitter. I was like, do you agree with that? And I think that the consensus was, most people said, well, yeah, kind of. You know, you have to have some foundation. But I'll sum it up by saying, and this is my belief. Yeah, you need education. You need a book essentially to get started. You need some foundation knowledge, but get into a career as fast as you can, no matter what that position is, and keep your eyes open. Don't get in the door. That's a big thing. But then progress, look quickly, and then pivot. Figure out, okay, what does this company need? How can I help? Where do I see their points of need? Eric, give us 2 quick goals for 2021. I'll throw. It's actually the reason I started this live stream is one of my goals for 2021. And that's where I was sitting there thinking, I want to revolutionize education. If you want to know Jeremy in a nutshell, obviously my heart for training. You've probably taken some of my training at some point. But I really want to do it differently in 2021. I want to do it in a way that is not only videos and video learning, which is helpful for a lot of people. I know, I get that. The video training I do has helped a lot of people, thousands of people. But I'm looking for what is that thing? That's my 2021 goal. Is what is that thing that I can do that can really just take it to a whole nother level, to where it's not just like I always tell people, when you watch a video, my whole goal in the video is to get you so inspired. I would call myself a professional inspirer, and so inspired to where you're like, okay, I think I get that you'll actually jump into it yourself. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people watch the video. Very common question I get is, hey, if I watch your CCNA series, will I pass the test? I'm like, no, you won't. You'll be entertained. You'll get some key. You'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I'll open the door to a lot of your understanding. But you're not going to pass the test unless you actually do it. Unless you start, setting up OSPF, do some show commands, have it go wrong, figure it out. Like, that's the things that'll help you pass the test. That's the things that'll help you in the real world as well. So, can't say the name, but it says, hey, Mastermind, I just finished MCSA and MCSE. Next year going for CCNP Encore. I'm seeing that theme quite a bit. A lot of people going for Encore, and I think it makes sense as Cisco has made that the step. So I'm going to stop talking for a second. Tell me, what is your 2021 goal and why? Chat it in. What is your 2021 goal and why? And I mean, a lot of value will come from this, from the archive. A lot of people will be looking at these and causing them to think themselves, what am I doing? I'm getting the Encore, great. Why? What are you going to do with it? And what's your next step from there? And it's okay to be like, hey, Encore's all I got, and it's fine. Go for it. It's better than stepping in there. So I want to clear my CCNP is Nikhil. Good. Forgive me if I say the names wrong. Getting the CCNP, excellent. What else? What else you guys got? Chat it in. I'll just walk and enjoy this weather in the meanwhile. Getting DevNet. ARSI, another Cisco cert, just to be prepared for the real world. I'm a student right now. Good. I want to go from my help desk role to network admin. Good. And by the way, help desk, I did, somebody asked me to do a live stream on my journey into IT. It's where I started as well, doing Apple tech support, if you can believe that. Encore, Apple before it was cool. Encore, ITIL for business. ITIL, so good in terms of a business-minded cert that takes a lot of the technology and applies it Good. CCNP Encore, because I believe it has serious value in the IT field. You would be right on that. I'm looking for a data engineering job. I have some network engineering stuff. Good. Encore. More, the acronym soup. I can't say it all while I'm walking. Because I love network design and understanding the technology. I do too. And by the way, design is a vacuum in the CCNP. You'll get a lot of people that have the technical know-how, but to put it all together and build a network, it's a whole other thing. Eric, good to see you again. Note to all, I went through help desk path, landed my CCNA, keep grinding. I'm gonna stop so I can not have the phone bumping, and find that network admin engineer, you learn so much more on the job. Certs are great, but utilize it correctly. Absolutely correct. I actually just had, I was having I'll share a brief conversation I had with one of my team members this last week. He was like, I was gonna get my CCNA, but should I do that? And I said, well, why are you doing it? And he's like, I don't know. He is a network engineer. He's like, I just feel like I should have it. I'm like, well, are you leaving our company and going to find a job? And he was like, well, and obviously talking to me, I don't know his real motivation, but he's like, of course not. And I'm like, okay, well, only two reasons you would really go for the CCNA. It's because you want that mark of achievement, like I've got this, or you want to go find another job. And he's like, well, I don't think I really want either one of those. So if you're already a network engineer, getting a CCNA may not be the best thing. Okay, sorry, I got to scroll back. A lot of great comments in here. Palo Alto, I'm curious, Palo Alto. I've seen a lot more of that than I thought. I'm already VCP certified, want to go on to the CCNA, do software-defined networking and so on. Good, CCNA labbing. Foo, break into IT. I must switch careers in 2021. Hoping to skip the help desk with the CCNA and Encore. Excuse me. Totally possible to skip the help desk if you have a certification. But don't let that hold you back from getting started. A lot of people are waiting for that dream job to just show up because they're certified. And sometimes it does, but a lot of times it doesn't. So get your foot in the door. Hopefully landing a first IT job. Chris, good. And totally possible. Right now, the economy is doing well, despite what the news will tell you. It's ironically, I'm like, as I'm talking, a little drop down just said, oh, another Nashville explosion update. Yeah, the news is nuts, but the economy is actually doing quite well. Now is the time to get a job. Glad to be on this live stream. Hey, Jacob, more Linux. I see a lot of Linux. That is smart. The beauty of Linux is you can build your own world in the Linux world. Software-defined networking, all those concepts come from the Linux environment. So, never a bad thing to have that under your belt. It is such a do-it-yourself world in Linux, and there's so much potential there. Wanting to get Aruba certified. Companies moving from Cisco to Aruba. That's interesting. Haven't seen that happen too often, but good. Python is awesome. What do you think of Python? I would say Python is awesome. It's very similar to Linux. It's like build your own world with Python, which is good. And I'll say the job of the future, not as if there's only one, but there will be a ton of demand for people who can tie it all together. And what I mean by that is API. And with Pythons, you have snakes. With Python, you have that capability to take, for instance, one of the projects I'm working on right now is taking Netbox. Some of you have seen that series I put together, and actually tying it to PRTG. So I create a device in Netbox, and boom, it automatically appears in PRTG. And Python is the magic sauce that I'm using to do that. Is the CCIE worth it? Maybe. You will not have a problem finding a job if you have a CCIE. I'll say that, and there's so much more we can talk about that. Nikhil, I want to save some money. I want to create my own physical lab at home, inspired by your real world networking. Well, thanks. And that's where a lot of people get started. That's a great way to get experience without having the career to go along with it. Eric, I'm right there with you. Mohammed, what are your thoughts on cybersecurity? Actually, ironically, it's just cybersecurity. So I'm actually teaching a course with David Bombal and Chuck Keith. Most people know him as Network Chuck right now, called Security Plus. That is actually my first official security course I've ever taught. I've taught CCNP security, so I guess you could say that's official. But I mean, like, one that's completely abstracted from networking, Security Plus. And so what do I think about cybersecurity? I think it's fun. It's actually a lot of fun. But I'm seeing a big challenge because I think that, so I'm being haunted right now as I'm teaching Security Plus, by thinking, okay, there's a lot of people that are getting their first step into technology with this course, this Security Plus course. And I'm like, if they don't know networking before they get here, that's going to be a vacuum. If they don't know, for instance, sysadmin, MCSA style stuff before they get here, that's going to be tough. And I've met people like that are security certified, whatever that cert would be, and they don't actually have the knowledge of the foundation technology they're securing, and that's tough. So what do I think about cybersecurity? I'm kind of walking you through my thought process. I think it's awesome as long as you have a foundation in technology to start off with, instead of Anthony, you threw me off. I read your question, great question. But yeah, so you get my thought, right? Have that foundation technology to start off with. And then security is excellent to add to it. So what book, Anthony asked the question, what book do you recommend? The reason we're teaching Security Plus is right now, they just revised the certification. And so right now there are no books for the new one, but once I find one, I'd be happy to let you know. So finding, so Hamziks, forgive the pronunciation. I'm studying Cisco networking, but I find it difficult to design networks. And yes, I will tell you, it will be difficult until you've done it a lot. Network design, it's actually a different skill set from network configuration, completely different, even though it doesn't make sense. You're like, well, you obviously have to connect them together to make it work. But yeah, design, it's a different skill. And just like any skill, you have to learn it and build it. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go another 2.5 minutes. Sound good? Until we hit 20 minutes on this live stream. Let's see. Test out training worth it? I don't know. I haven't used test out. Jose, greetings from Ecuador. Hey, Ecuador. It's good to hear from you. I've actually been to Ecuador. Went with my church about. I was gonna say I went with my wife when we were first married. It was like 18 years ago, so it's been a while, but great place. Let's see, CCNA, help me get my network. Okay, CCNA, Davion, help me get my Network Plus and JNCIA, so Juniper certification, as the CCNA gives you the foundation. Oh, actually, thank you. Yes, actually, that's a great point. A lot of so. CCNA is the most popular certification in the world. And the reason why, and I will say Juniper actually started giving away their certification for free, their training, even their cert test for free, just because nobody was taking it. Because when you get the CCNA, you really do have enough knowledge to dive into any equipment. And I will tell you that firsthand. I deal with equipment all the time that I've never even touched before. With the knowledge that you get from getting Cisco certified, it's just like, okay, I get it. It just takes you a little time to get used to how vendor X will do it. Jeremy, another Jeremy from the Philippines. Greetings over to you. I'll tell you what, YouTube does great with what they've got doing this interface, but I'm sitting here scrolling as I'm going. I'm Ron. Your thoughts about a recent breach at SolarWinds, also on data privacy, Google, Facebook suffering these days. That's actually, let me end on that thought. So first off, when SolarWinds, I'm sure if you haven't heard of it, goodness, where have you been? SolarWinds, massive security breach, and SolarWinds being in government, in all kinds of places. I mean, I'll say first off, it has opened a lot of oh my gosh, I think the reason it's so massive is it wasn't reported, and it was being exploited for nearly a year before it came out. So that tells you people could have been doing all kinds of stuff. So so I was just on the phone with Passler. They make the PRTG product last week. I was like, what do you guys think? I was like, I'm sure, as I was talking to them, because PRTG, if you didn't know, is a competitor of SolarWinds. And I said, you're probably torn. Like, you want to smile and be happy, but you're like, you feel bad for them as well. He said, honestly, yes, we are. We feel that same way. But he said, it's sobering to think a company as large as SolarWinds could have a breach like that, because he said, it could happen to any of us. Nobody's safe. You've got code, lots of dependencies. Nobody's safe from those kind of things. So my thoughts. That was just recent conversation. My thoughts on SolarWinds is it reminds me once again how necessary it is to design your security with onion layers and with accountability to it. I mean, when SolarWinds was being breached, I guarantee you there were log files all over the world lighting up in IPS systems, firewall systems, saying like, hey, this is an anomaly, this is unusual, things like that. And there's just not checking log files, not seeing those things. And I'm not casting blame. I'm the first one. Like this morning, I had a guy text me. He's like, dude, what's going on with the BGP session at the data center? Longer story behind that, but I'm like, oh. And sure enough, it's the day after Christmas. I'm not going to check BGP log files, but sure enough, we were having at our data center, one of our carriers was going up and down their BGP session, and it was intermittent, so the alarm wouldn't stay steady. And I'm like, and that's what I think about when I think about SolarWinds. I'm like, man, how important is it to stay vigilant with not just monitoring, but literally reporting. Like, having the monitoring system send an email, that doesn't just go away, and actually checking your email, and I know I'm way oversimplifying this, but having that mindset of always thinking, because when it comes to security, it is the ultimate defensive position. You have to defend everything, and the attacker only has to be right once. That's it. Thousands of attacks that you block every day. Leave your SSH ports open on your router and watch the log files, right? Thousands of attacks will come in every single day, and they only have to get in once. That's what I think of when I think of SolarWinds. That was the one time, and that one time, whew, man, what a doozy. So that being said, guys, it has been a blast. Thank you for hanging out with me. Merry post-Christmas. I'll see you guys later.